Hey everyone, welcome. Okay, so we were actually gonna go live a few hours ago, and then I couldn't log into my YouTube account. And after trying multiple times, I got blocked. Well, maybe it wasn't meant to happen at that time. So we are late, but we are here. We are here. And this video, my loves, is about sex magic. So I want to speak to you about what sex magic is, what it's not, and how you can get started with this very specific tantric rituals. But first, welcome everyone. If this is your first time to this channel, so lovely to connect and meet you. And if it's not your first time, then welcome back. So my name is Magda K. I am an intimacy expert, tantra teacher, and conscious relationships coach. And this channel is my place to speak about certain topics in more depth. So you'll see that I have some shorter videos. I really like diving deep into the topics, give you all of the angles and deeper understanding. I'm just someone who loves going deep. I'm not the kind of a person who gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for great relationships. I don't think that's how life works. So you always see that I just love bringing all of these topics together, and it's all designed to give you all of the tips, all of the knowledge, all of the techniques, so you can enjoy the most fulfilling intimate life. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean just sex, which is usually what we think when we speak about intimacy. I'm talking about intimacy that you feel in general with yourself, with other people, with your partner, and with life. So whether you're single or in a relationship, like I feel there's always more space to open our heart, open our body, feel more love, more connected. And this is my intention with my work. uh, so first of all, make sure to check the description under this video because there's some beautiful free resources for you. And let's get to it. So sex magic. Now, I know when I say sex magic, some of you are like, "Ooh, that is exciting," and other may feel like, "Oh, what are we talking about? Are we talking about an orgy?" So I'm gonna address all of this in this video, and I'm also going to tell you actually about a possibility how you can experience that type of a work and ritual yourself. So, what sex magic actually is, it's a very ancient, traditional, very powerful tantric ritual. And what you have to understand is that, like, about 10 years ago, Tantra wasn't just available to people. Like, for me, I really wanted to learn and I couldn't. Like, there's no Tantra online, no teachers online. So it took me a few years of like trying to find the teacher and the school to get into these teachings. And so a lot of tantric practices until just a few years ago, they have been kept secret. And this is one of those. And why? It's because it's very powerful. This ritual is very powerful, and so it was a bit like making sure that people don't use it for anything bad. Literally, that's how powerful this ritual is. But also because there's always been shadow in all of the spiritual paths, and a lot of teachers, in a way, preferred keeping this powerful tool for themselves because it was a power play. It's like even here in these spiritual paths, you had teachers who wanted the power and the higher position, and they didn't want to give certain tools to other people. And I think something I personally really love is with these teachings becoming more common, while we offer lose the depth, and that's something I really care about. Like, I don't want to lose this depth. Again, that's why you're not getting 5 steps to sex magic, but you're getting this whole video right now, because I don't want you to lose the depth. I think it's important. But at the same time, I find it so beautiful that all humans, if they choose to, if they want to, they can find information how to apply these techniques to their lives, because these techniques should belong to everyone. So, what is this ritual all about? So, sex magic is a manifestation technique that uses your sexual energy. So, what does it mean, a manifestation technique, a manifestation ritual? Well, I'm sure you've heard things like, have a vision board, have your affirmations, like write down everywhere around the house the things that you want, the specific goal setting. So, this whole concept of manifestation, or making your dreams, your goals come true, is really popular these days. So, sex magic is basically a way to bring your dreams into the reality. but it's specifically powerful because it works directly with your sexual energy and the principles of energy and energy transmutation. Okay, so we go beyond the physical reality. This is why it's called magic, because our science, our conscious mind doesn't fully get these things, and yet they work. So what does it mean that we are engaging your sexual energy? Because like I said at the very beginning, like a lot of people think like, oh yeah, it's just like big orgy. It's not what it is about. Like it can be done in the setting of an orgy, but that's like secondary. What's most important is the uniqueness of sexual energy. That's what makes this manifestation practice so different than anything else you may do, and also so much more powerful and, can I say it, more pleasant and more fun. So, why is sexual energy so important? Why is it so powerful? And also, what exactly is sexual energy? By the way, okay, we're getting some constructions around. We had some noises last week, and I'm just hearing something. So, my apologies again. If you guys can hear any of the weird noises, please try to just zone it out. So, what is sexual energy? This is where I find a lot of people confuse, like, really what tantra is about, what sacred sexuality is about, what intimacy is about. Because sexual energy goes way beyond sex, way beyond penetration, way beyond your bedroom. I want you to think of your sexual energy as your life force, or in fact, the force behind life itself. So this is the force that makes the river flow, right? This is the force that makes the seed open and grow into a plant. There's the force that keeps the earth spinning. Now, you can also think of this, and I find this really incredible, is that nature is very determined to stay alive. She's very creative and very determined to stay alive. So think of it. You have this river, right? Notice how you can put all of the obstacles there. There can be a tree, a rock, even a house built in the middle of the river. A river will find a way because she really, really desires to reach the ocean. So notice what rivers can do. They can be so creative to reach its goal. If you think of the seed, right, why is it that the seed opens into a little sprout? And how does the sprout know to grow? Like, yeah, it knows to grow towards the sun, but when it's in a soil, it doesn't need to see the sun. So where is this instinct coming from, right? That's what we call sexual energy. You can also think of like all of the, when you sometimes see the trees and the root just go around these rocks or around the sidewalks. It's just so creative, so unstoppable. That's sexual energy. And you have felt this energy as well. So think, for example, if, let's say, if you're ever in the gym and like you're doing some weights and you're like, oh, this is really heavy, I cannot lift anymore. And then you see someone you fancy, and somehow, magically, you're able to lift more weights. Or let's say something, here's another scenario for you. Let's say you're invited out, but you're like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm just going to stay home, like watch Netflix. And then you learn that your crush is going to be there. 5 minutes, you are ready to go out and have full night out. Okay, so this is the feeling, like being like a superwoman, superman, having access to energy that you didn't have access to just 5 minutes ago. You literally feel stronger, you have better endurance, you're more creative, more proactive. And the amazing thing is that it feels like something else is pushing you. So you don't actually need to use any willpower, any motivation, any strength. It's like something is pushing you, you're moving forward. And it's also, you get to feel this energy when you fall in love, right? Like when you're in love, you're just like, it's like you're under a spell, but the spell that like tells you you're incredible and everything is going to work out and everything is magical and everything is perfect. That's the spell, right? So you see yourself in a different light. Like you're like, I'm amazing, right? I can achieve anything I want. Now, we've all experienced this. We've had those glimpses. But the thing is that those glimpses kind of happen to us, especially falling in love, right? It's such a like passive state, the way we understand it in our society. Well, The thing is that you can actually intentionally activate this energy for yourself. So imagine that you could, in a way, decide to fall in love with your goals. And the same spell that you're under when it comes to liking someone, you can be under the same spell when it comes to making your dreams come true. The same determination that pushes the river around any obstacle, you can have the same determination available to you to find a way to reach your goals. That extra energy you find in the gym just because your crush is next to you, that is something you can intentionally bring up for yourself. That is the whole point of a sex magic ritual, right? You're actually bringing this excitement, bringing this love, bringing this energy into your life so it can support you towards your goal. And again, the key here is that it feels really good, right? It feels really good. It's rooted in incredible self-confidence, self-acceptance, self-love. Like you're just like, you feel that you're a worthy, such an amazing human being, right? That you deserve all of this. And lastly, it feels effortless. Okay, so that's what sexual energy is. That's the specific magic when we're under the spell of our sexual energy, right? And now the whole point is that in this ritual of sex magic, remember that's a ritual for manifestation, we gather this powerful energy, right? We activate it intentionally and then we channel it. So if you think of this driving force behind life, it always has a goal. The seed is meant to become the tree. The river, right, has the goal of reaching the ocean. So when you have your intention, you have your goal, then you can intentionally engage this energy to push you, add all of this magic to get you to that specific point. So the first step is exactly activating the sexual energy. And then we go into the process that we call energy transmutation. So this is the process of inner alchemy where you take your sexual energy and you change it and you move it through your body and you get to charge your goals with that power. And it's really amazing because if you're someone who's interested, especially in like, success and wealth consciousness, then already Napoleon Hill hinted on this in his famous book, Think and Grow Rich. He actually talks about energy transmutation. Now, he doesn't go into details, right? But he says that successful people have mastered the art of managing and working with their sexual energy. And that's exactly what he was talking about. He was talking about sex magic. Okay. Now, I want you to, for a moment, just like really understand the power of your sexual energy. Okay. Because, like I said, no other manifestation, ritual, or practice can even compare to this. Why? Because your sexual energy is able to create life. And if it can create life, what can it not create? Now, I really want you to take a moment with me here, okay? Because we take it for granted because we continuously hear of kids being born, like, it's such a normal thing. I want you to really step back and understand how not normal it is. Do you actually know that our medicine does not understand what life is? We actually do not know. We cannot determine when life starts and when life ends. Like the fact that we don't know exactly when life starts basically opens the whole discussion about abortion because people are like, oh, you're killing someone. No, I'm not. We don't know. We literally do not know when life begins, but we also do not know when life ends. So this is a bit of like a different topic, but actually doctors have a certain checklist of certain vital signs that they check to be able to rule that this person is officially dead. However, even doctors admit that we don't know whether that actually means that a person died or not. And it happens surprisingly often that someone is ruled dead and then they come back to life because we do not understand what life is. Life for modern science is magic. It's a miracle. And until today, okay, your sexual energy is the only energy on this planet capable of creating that miracle. We do not know how to create life. We have absolutely no idea. But your sexual energy is the only force on this planet that can create life. That's how powerful it is. So then think for this, like if you think for a moment, like what are the things that you want to bring for yourself? What are the goals that you have? Maybe you want to race, you want to start your own business or meet a soulmate, heal something in your body. Like if your sexual energy can create life, this the biggest miracle of all, it can create everything, right? So now let's speak about specifically how do we do this in a sex magic ritual. Now, before I move into those steps, I actually want to make a little note is to be mindful not to manifest things unconsciously. Okay. So um what we don't realize is that your sexual energy gets engaged like in multiple times throughout the way. Multiple situations engage this, and you actually may be manifesting the very things you don't want because you're charging them with your sexual energy. So I'll give you an example. Makeup sex, right? So often when couples feel angry, they'll connect intimately, and now in some situations it actually works. So your body naturally goes into the process of transmutation, and it takes anger and it changes. Sex can be used, like sex magic, to change this negative energy into something that feels good, into being connected to your partner. But sometimes it doesn't work. And when you're angry at your partner and you have sex, you may still feel angry or even more angry at the end of lovemaking. Why? It's because you just charged your anger with your sexual energy. So that powerful force that can create anything you want, you just channeled it into the anger, into your issues with your partner. And through this, you can actually expand them. This is also why we need to be very mindful. What are the thoughts that we have when we make love? So often, especially for women, we're like bombarded by the thoughts of like, oh my God, I'm too fat. Look at my belly. Look at my cellulite. Now, if these are your thoughts, right, while you're engaging your sexual energy, what you're doing is sending this powerful force into the very thing you don't like about yourself, making it more prominent physically or energetically in your space. If you keep worrying about something that happened at work, like your boss yelling at you, and then you go and have sex, again, unconsciously, you may be actually adding all of this force into the very thing that you don't want. Okay, so be mindful um, that that you can charge the things you don't want with your sexual energy, right? And by the way, this is something I really do recommend to people who go into sacred sexuality, who go into tantra, is to really become very, very aware, very mindful and respectful of what sex actually is. It's a powerful energy exchange between people. You take on the energy of the other person, and it's like we really need to become more responsible for how we engage these energy. Okay. So now, how can you actually use sex magic? So, like I mentioned, we gotta play with what's called energy transmutation, right? So it's about first we want to gather the sexual energy, activate it, and then move it through the body. And there are many techniques we can use for this, and some of those techniques they're actually really advanced, and it takes years of practice to master them. But we use things like specific body locks and movements and breath practice and visualization to move the energy. Um, Now, the beauty about sex magic ritual is that you're using something that you already do and you already like, which is making love. So, how can you, like, what are the different principles or fundamentals of turning just ordinary sex into a sex magic ritual? So, the first thing is you need to have clear intention. So, having intention means directing your sexual energy into a specific point. Okay, so we actually move energy with our point of focus. If I focus on my nose, my energy actually runs here, and suddenly I can sense more around my nose. What is meditation? Meditation is closing your eyes and bringing focus inside, and again the energy rushes inside, you feel more. So because in this ritual we want to channel this sexual energy into something we desire, it's super powerful to have a point, a specific point where we want to channel this energy. So again, in most cases, when we have sex, we don't come with the intention, right? We just end up having sex. Here, it's about making this whole practice intentional. Number second, the second thing you need to be able to feel your energy, because we're working with the energy. And the prerequisite to this is you got to believe that energy exists. And we come from the society, most of us, where energy is considered some sort of like BS, that it doesn't exist. So I know for some of you this may be a bit of a challenge, but like the first step, you got to believe that energy exists, and then start building a relationship. You have to be curious to get to know your own energy. Like, how does your energy feel? And for some people, they can start feeling energy really fast. For other people, this may be a journey of few months of like intense practices to feel this. Like, I want you to be aware that like sensing energy is sort of like a superpower. It's what we consider in our times paranormal. So if it's not easy for you, like be patient with yourself. Okay, like it took me about 2 years actually before I could feel energy in my body and in the body of my clients. So it's something we have to build, but you have to be able to feel your energy, because you have to be able to work with your energy. If you don't feel it, then you actually don't know what happens to your energy. So you got to be able to feel it to move to step number 3, which is move it through the body. And like I said, we use different transmutation techniques here that use visualization and locks and breath, right? So that we can move the energy through the body. Number 4, this is when actually, this is mostly for men, but this is when the practice of non-ejaculation becomes very important. So if you've ever explored what these practices are, non-ejaculation, one of the benefits of why men explore this is that with ejaculation, you lose your energy, you lose your sexual energy, right? So if you want to take this energy and channel it into your intention, you cannot do it if you lose this energy with your ejaculation. So as a man, you really need to learn how to keep this energy in your body and then move it up. Now, if this is something you would like to explore, I actually have an online training for this. It's called Sexual Mastery, and the link is in the description. But for those of you who are here live right now, I'm just going to post the link quickly in the comments. So this is my online training where I guide you through practices, exactly, visualization, locks, breath, movement, that teach you how to keep your ejaculation in and how to move it through your body, and also, if you practice enough, experience full body orgasm. But again, this is really needed for men to be able to actually have access to your energy, not lose it, so you can channel all of this energy into your goals. Then number 5 is you actually need to consciously send this energy into, you're activating the energy, you're moving it through the body, and then you this, like you're feeding it, you're directing it. So again, this is the element of being intentional, right? That's like the theme of the whole thing. Most of us, when we make love, we are unintentional about what happens to our sexual energy. One of the aspects of practicing sacred sexuality is bringing this intention, and that's the fundamental step in a sex magic ritual. Now, next point is the moment of an orgasm. So this is the most powerful moment, and when you are at the peak, you actually have access to the most powerful energy, and there are unique qualities to the energies that like move through your body when you have your orgasm. But in this moment, like if you can stay focused on your intention, which I know it's not really easy, this is why we use different props to be able to bring our awareness back into the intention. So in the moment of an orgasm, you can still be channeling this energy there. But basically what happens is that in the moment of an orgasm, your feminine and masculine energy are perfectly balanced. And that's actually a state of enlightenment, of nirvana. So people who practice sacred sexuality, who practice tantric sexuality, actually open the door to this very deep spiritual experience that they may have in the moment of an orgasm or after sex. The states, like I said, of enlightenment, the states of pure connection with oneness. So you have access, direct access to the divine. So if you can keep your awareness on your intention in this moment, this is going to be extra powerful. And now sex magic can be done solo, so through self-pleasure, can be done with a partner, or in a group setting. Again, if there's more people, you just gotta make sure that you all agree on the intention, so the energy is channeled into one point instead of like being distracted and moving everywhere. Now, look, you may now think like, okay, but I struggle to orgasm, or I don't know how to not ejaculate, right? Maybe you haven't worked with energy, you don't feel energy, you have no idea how to move it. Or maybe it just kind of feels a bit too much. You're like, you know what? I like sex to be sex. This seems a bit too complicated. Well, there are other ways that you can actually play with the sex magic principles. So your sexual energy, like I said, this is life force. This is the driving force behind life. So it's not just about your arousal. It's not just about sex. Your vitality, this feeling of being alive, being energized, that is also your sexual energy. Your creativity, your playfulness, that's your sexual energy. Your ability to feel pleasure, right? That's your sexual energy. That gentle innocence that runs through our body, that is also our sexual energy. And this is, again, like I said at the beginning, where a lot of misunderstanding comes. Like, when people say the word sex or sexuality, we automatically think, oh, bedroom, oh, penetration. But your sexuality goes so much beyond that. Okay, like your sexuality is your aliveness. So you can actually experience a sex magic ritual without having sex, without having penetration, without touching your genitals, without needing to be naked, without engaging the arousal. Okay, it can be done with all of the other expressions of your energy. And this is actually what you can experience with me. So especially for the new year, I find, like, I'm a Virgo, so I love planning, I love organizing, and I go through a series of rituals at the end and at the beginning of every year. And again, it's like, a lot of people say like, oh, it's old school, you always like set the goals for the new year, we never accomplish them, and yet we still do. And the reason why we do is because actually, um, anytime something ends and something begins, we have an extra energy available to us. So if you choose to show up correctly, you have access to extra energy that supports you to make life changes. This is why, if you follow moon cycles, right, the new moon is a perfect moment to start new things, because it's a beginning. One cycle of the moon ended, now you have a beginning. Same for women with their menstrual cycles, right? If we follow cycles, actually, we have access to energies in a different way. So this is a yearly cycle. One year ends, the next year begins. So there's an extra energy available that you can tap into. So what I decided to do is to offer 10 private rituals using the power of sex magic, but not making it about sex. So we're going to play with this playfulness, with this innocence, with the creativity, with the feeling of being alive and energized. We're going to use those aspects of your energy to help you manifest the most luscious 2022. Now, this ritual is for both individuals and couples, and it's held online. So what happens that we will meet together, me and you. So it's a closed, private, individual space. And we're going to spend together 3 hours. And in this time, I will guide you through the whole ritual step by step. So we're going to start by setting the space, preparing everything, and setting the intention in the right way. Okay, because like I said, this is the first step of this ritual, and it's very important that the energy knows exactly where to go. So there are two reasons, by the way, why people don't get what they want. The first reason is they don't know what they want. The second is they don't know how to. But not knowing what they want is because we are usually actually afraid to really admit to ourselves what it is that we desire. So we keep our goals vague and unclear. But when they're vague and unclear, then it's hard to move towards them. So I will help you find clarity for your intention, for your goal, so that doesn't happen. And then I'm going to guide you through a series of practices that will engage your energy, again, your creativity, your playfulness, right? We'll be moving the body. You'll be dropping into your body so that we activate your natural life force energy, move it through your body, and then channel it into your intentions. Now, the way that this ritual is designed is that this is for everyone. Okay, first of all genders and all dreams are welcome, But what's important is that even if you've never done Tantra, okay, if you've never played with energy, you've never felt your energy, even if this is so new for you, you have like, I have no idea how this works, I don't understand it, I don't even know if I believe this ritual is for you. See, when I look at where we are right now in the world, there's so many changes that basically disempower people, and we all feel like so much of our life doesn't depend on us. Like in some parts of the world, people still cannot leave their homes, right? You cannot go out, you cannot meet your friends. So there's so many things we used to be able to do that we cannot now, and it actually really creates this feeling that my life is not in my hands, and it's a very dangerous feeling. Like we actually know from psychology, because there's experiments done, that then that type of disempowerment creates depression, and unfortunately it causes a lot of suicide. And I personally actually know people who have, I mean, I knew people who committed suicides because of the current situation, because they couldn't handle what was happening to their life as the consequence of the lockdown. So I believe that now more than ever, we need the tools that will help us feel that we are in control of what happens in our life, no matter what happens externally, that we still get to impact our reality, how we feel internally, but also what happens externally. And this is such a powerful ritual, like I said, because we work with the sexual energy in these different expressions. And it literally changes the vibration of your body. It like bypasses all the stories of the mind, because when you go into those higher states, you kind of bypass certain patterns of the mind that normally would question things and would pull you back. So when you're out of the ritual, it's like it feels like you're a new person. It's like you just traveled into the future a few years, and you're smarter and more confident, more open. And when you're in this vibration, right, like naturally your physical reality changes, and it changes really fast. And so that's what this ritual is about. And like I said, I really believe that now it's so important for people to have access to those type of tools. And this is why I'm doing this in a way that everyone can join. Like, I don't want you to feel in any way uncomfortable that it's called sex magic. Like, in fact, I don't even call it sex magic. It's basically the New Year's tantric ritual for manifestation. That's what it is. And we're just gonna work with the energy of playfulness, creativity, joy, and fun. And I'm gonna, like I said, I have 10 such rituals planned for December and January. So if you're interested, please send me an email to info@magdak.com. Also in the description, you will find the link to read more about this program or about this ritual. So you can have a look at all of the information there. And if you're ready, you can book it. It costs $750 for a ritual. Or again, send me an email. I'm just gonna again put this in the comments for you guys. I'm just gonna, by the way, guys, just so that no one scrapes the email and spam me. I'm putting the @ in brackets. Because that's unfortunately it can happen. Yeah, and then again, if you have any questions, especially if this is like a whole new topic to you and you're like, I'm not really sure what exactly is meant to happen, just feel free to reach out to us, and me and my team will get back to you. Okay. And this ritual is, it's fully confidential. It's between the two of us. I want you to have access to this tool. Like, I feel that if I look at all of the generations of humanity, like if you actually study this, you will realize that the way that people have been oppressed and suppressed, and how power has been executed over people, was through suppressing sexuality. Because a person who is highly connected to their sex center, which is the core of who we are, they cannot be controlled. Like, they're like mavericks. If you look at some of the main leaders of our history, these were very like highly sexual people. So when you have a lot of sexual energy, when you work with this, when you know how to channel this energy, you really become unstoppable. So reclaiming that energy, reclaiming that power, is exactly the way to reclaim your sovereignty and your power for your life. And if you think of this, like, no one can take away your sexual energy, because that is who you are. Remember, this is your life force and the drive behind life. So no one can take this away. As long as you're alive, you are a sexual being. but you've been convinced that it's wrong, right? We've been convinced that sex is bad. You shouldn't talk about sex. You should be a virgin, right? But the thing is, you still have access to this powerful energy. Like, it's still in you. And it's just time that we simply used it. So, my loves, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this video answered your questions about what this ritual is, what is sex magic about, and what it's not. And again, if you feel called, is this a satanic ritual? No. I said it. It's a tantric ritual. No, darling. I would also, you could explore, what do you consider something a satanic ritual? But no, it's not. Like I said, it you're playing. You're using the life force energy. How using a life force energy? How using your playfulness can be satanic? I'm sorry. No, this is absolutely. This is called white magic. If anything, this is white magic ritual. It's all rooted in the love. It's all rooted in the heart. And some of the principles, by the way, when we do tantric rituals, we have one of the principles is to consecrate the ritual. So we offer the ritual to the divine, and we ask for the support that this ritual and the energy that we create in this ritual, that it's in the highest and best interest of every human being involved and on this planet. So it really comes from the higher intention, from higher vibration. It is meant to expand the humanity, expand you. It's meant to expand the heart and bring more peace, harmony, abundance, and love. That is one of the principles of once you go into those practices. Okay, so I hope that answers this question. So anyways, loves, again, if you feel called to actually experience this type of magic, it would be lovely to connect. So make sure to send me an email or to check the website where you can read more about it and book yours. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with me, giving me a few hours extra to come live because of the technical issues. And I am looking forward to seeing you next week for the next topic. Bye, my loves.